you should be able to see me in this camera. So red, orange, and yellow guy. So I also like to point that out, that I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy. That makes me the hottest thing inside the frame. Sorry, Stefan, but that's how it works tonight. So it's mainly ladies. But with this, we're looking for cold spots. They're going to be blue and black. So we're always going to have blue and black. It's chilly out here, right? So what did I write down? Is it 62 degrees out here? So again, it's about 62 with a little bit of a wind chill. But with this, the blue and black areas, when I do find them, because we're always going to have them, I want them to move or to take shape. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. Hopefully that's what we'll capture with it again. I also love to give you the stats of the equipment that you're about to use, just because I'm not a TV show host and I am not a YouTuber, right? So I'm not here for the likes. You guys are already here. I want real stuff just like you. I capture about 4 to 5 pieces out of this camera per year, not per episode, that I would put my stamp of approval on. I have dozens of others that I'm like, maybe, but I'll talk more about that as we kind of move along. But 4 to 5 pieces where I'm like, hot damn, that's definitely, like, I'll analyze the hell out of it frame by frame, and it's verified, but it's not like at first glance it's like, that's a ghost. You guys will see that as we kind of move through the night. There's also a blue dot bouncing around the screen. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I'll kind of like wiggle the camera a little bit, so that way you guys can get the gist of it. So the blue dot is there to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops out of that blue dot. So we're looking at what, about 47, 46 degrees roughly, based off the 62 ambient. So I'm looking also for that blue dot to move with the same type of temperature. So if we get a 47, super great. It might just dissipate, but it might have caught the cold sign that caught the wind, or a can on the ground. Windshield and glass is always going to be super cold, especially in temperatures like this. So I want it to move. So we get a 47. I'm expecting somewhere nearby it's also going to be turning into a 46 and kind of varying in that range. So you guys will see it. There's a lot that goes into this, but it is still super fun to watch. That's the great thing about this particular camera. So there you go. You're back up and running again. So what happens with the videos, just so you know, I actually take all the little videos that you take tonight and I put them together into one video and upload it to YouTube and watch it from there. So that's how this works. You're not going to get a bunch of little tiny videos coming out of that camera. It all comes together as one, and it'll be consecutive in order. It's a big deal. So what is this place? Like I said, it is the mansion from Charles and Eliza Pinckney. So who the hell were they? They actually had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you guys weren't paying attention. That's why we also look for secondary clues. In case you hear Charles, I'm hoping Amy gets something so I know which one it was. So that way I know how to address them. They are 3 different men. So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics, especially this close to a damn election. Again, I just hate politics. But I have to give them that recognition, because if I don't, they're going to do it for me in a nasty manner coming through Jamie's ears. I've caught dozens of disembodied voices with nasty messages out of this location, so I just make sure I give it to them and we move on. It's just a respect factor. We're going to talk about Eliza instead. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly like that because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days of when young ladies got married at like 12 and 14. What do you got?
Do I remind you of your daddy? That's what it just said.
Wow.
I swear, I'm sorry.
No, that actually makes complete sense. Okay. I know it seems silly, but it actually makes sense based off of what I was just saying.
Yeah.
Eliza's age, I will say, is according to today's standards because the husband was over double her age when they married. Do I remind you of your daddy? Very interesting piece. I know it seems silly, but this is the shit that I'm going to be looking for out of her. I want those funny things because it doesn't make sense.
Something comes at once.
Okay, as you keep talking, if it's not relevant, it's not that I don't hear you. I'm just going to keep going with the history.
You're good. You're good.
So,
I got Tourette's.
Yeah, exactly. If you ask her, just remember what those kind of numbers look like, today's standards. So, anyway, she married him because her father was over in England. Dad thinks he's dying over there and trying to bring all of his children home one last time, and Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put right here and got married. And it's 1744. You don't get married in that year to earn a green card. We're not a country yet. So, she did marry him out of love. There's nothing horrific about this location, in case you guys were wondering. It is actually a place of respect and a true love story. So, just on this hell. You guys are getting good shit tonight. I'll talk about that later. I usually don't even bring that up. I want something else to go along with it, just to verify it. But moving on, she was correct. Dad didn't die right away, and instead he starts sending her gifts to, basically, as apologies. And one of the gifts that he sent her was the seeds of indigo, which is a plant that makes blue dye. It makes your blue jeans blue. That's what we use it for today. Is it actual denim? Is it corduroy?
Corduroy.
Okay, so it's probably still indigo because
Yeah.
it looks like denim. But anyway, when she got her seeds, no idea what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's not always hot here. Obviously, you guys are wearing hoodies. However, when she learned how to keep it going, she learned how to make the dye here as well, then moved it to a cash crop and got a hold of her father and told him that the rice plantations they had here were going downhill in price. They were going to make a killing with the indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. That is something...
I got a question.
This whole arm is cool. Oh, I see what it is. It's the pocket. The pocket is an extra layer on his hoodie. You have a pocket going in front? Yeah. So he has an extra layer in front, so it's not going to be as warm as whatever's touching his body.
Okay.
Good catch.
Just checking.
It
It was weird, and I was like,
You're
oh.
that thermal image master. By the time.
Yeah.
I know, right? So with this particular location, I'm going to give the two communicators impromptu questions. There's a little rule: if you go rogue and ask your own questions, no yes, no questions. We've already talked about that. Be respectful while we're here. And last but not least, do not ask questions about Eliza's children. I will explain before we leave the space. So what we'll do is I'll give you guys the questions, and they're just focus questions. You don't have to say them out loud. She already knows what you're going to ask. I'm here every night. But again, if you go rogue, that's what you'll say out loud for sure. And remember, your answers can go anywhere. So we have a camera running with audio, plus I have a voice recorder with audio, and if you two are asking questions, the answers can go to any one of our 4 devices. Stefan's just kind of our safety director at this point. So with your set of questions, I do want you to focus on Eliza's death. 4 major questions that we get answers to: age at time of death, how she died, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So age, how, where, president. Those are the 4 majors.
Okay.
Yours. It's going to give us like 1 to 2 syllables, or 1 to 2 words at a time. So I do like the fact that you got impact on there. Don't think I ignored it. But you're going to stay focused on the mansion. It's not here anymore, right? So you can ask what happened to it. And if we get the what, we will often get 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that tragedy occurred. I just gave you a clue. It's a tragedy. Keep in mind, she could also get the answers. So you don't know what she's going to be asking. If she's going to go rogue, that's why I'm going to take a look at your list every couple of minutes. You know, we'll look at it together as a whole and kind of see what we got. Stefan, any numbers at all?
Just getting up to like 3, and it did hit 5 for like half a second.
And that's what we want. So if it was coming from a man-made object like a cell phone, it would have hovered 5, 4.3, 5.2. It would have hovered there. So when you get a 5 and it goes back down to less than 1, that's what we want. So your 5 is now your new baseline. So I'm going to write down both of the 3 and the 5s. Just tell me everything above a 5, and we'll keep it growing as you see the point. Those are actually, it's a good start to what's going on here. Dress is back again. Awesome. I do want you to ask about that dress, maybe try to get a color out of it. It's a very specific dress that she'll refer to for every once in a while. All right, let's spread out. Get to work. This is what you guys paid for. You guys paid me to go to work. That's the fun part. What do you got going on? You got a list I see already. Charleston's I throw out 227. Okay, Charleston's too easy of a grab, so is 8.
Oh, Charleston was like the name of my list.
Oh, your list, got it.
But it keeps repeating, I believe.
You're gonna be easy to teach.
I think it's just air temp.
Okay.
Because it's towards the top of the screen. It's always towards the top of the screen.
Yeah, when I'm watching this video, which is weird because it looks like it's in reverse right now. I normally like watch the wall because the wall will hang on to the day's heat. But the ground is made of like so many different types of material.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we have gravel and mud and all those different things that are different temperatures. So I usually like watch the wall in the background. So if we get a blue dot like moving across the wall, that's an easy grab. But it just seems like the ground is actually awfully warm. What's the temperature say on there?
65.
65. So that means that the wall is probably reading about the same, if not just a little bit higher. Interesting. But again, I'm constantly having to learn like what the hell's going on here. What are those lines moving across? You see the shadow? Picking up on the shadow? It's weird. There's no way that her shadow is casting that much of a different temperature as she's moving.
Dude, we're all doing that.
Yeah. It's odd. I don't know, maybe it's because it's chilly up here. Obviously, it's been quite a few months since I've had a night this cold. So maybe my eye just hasn't caught on to that yet. But that is kind of a weird anomaly. Something to ask my colleague about. I got a guy that's working with me, lives in California, so he has a lot of the same theories that I do. So we pass each other like weird things back and forth. 'Cause he knows
That's cool.
I'm out here every night. I mean, he doesn't get a chance to do it every night like I do, but he has a lot of the same equipment that I do, if not an upgraded version. So I mean, he's pretty smart about things. Plus, we get along, and that's hard to find in this community.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Was there maybe like a big fire in a field?
What do you got?
A burn hell? It was hell, field, body, fire.
It was a fire.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot going on. That's awesome. Like, I'm excited about it. This is me
Good.
excited.
Good.
So I'm not the
Yeah.
TV show host that's going to start screaming
Yeah.
about it. But you have burn and fire.
Yeah, I have field. It was field, hell, fire, body, and gas. Yeah.
Let's see what Jamie said. Jamie, did you get any numbers? Smelling that dumpster. That's great.
I'm assuming there's people that live over there.
I'm gonna say like that's actually an office building. I don't think people live there.
It sounded like a door shut over there.
Yeah, there might be people going in and out. This is a weird city. So
That's fair. That's fair.
it's very weird. I mean, because a lot of times, I don't say a lot of times, like if I decide I need to go, shoot a TikTok video somewhere, and I usually wait till I'm done with your guys' data, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm walking around the city with whatever camera, and I see some weird shit. Like, what the hell are you people down and out at 3 o'clock in the morning? Like, I'm supposed to be out here ghost hunting, making a quick TikTok or something, and you guys are out here, just gallivanting it up, or you wanted to come out and have a cigarette or whatever. It's like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Especially with the college kids I'm sure.
I don't see a whole lot of them at that time of night because of where my office is. It's pretty far away from the college. They don't want
Okay.
to walk down that far. But again, I see some weird folks. Amy's like hardcore into this. I love it. Anything else weird going on?
After processing flash.
Jamie, you got anything? Do you have anything at all? You got anything weird going on? Pretty light, kind of cute, little big, just right up top, and it's kind of fading out. So, last thing is still sitting in. Alright, really time to wrap this up. Just probably not talking. And of course, probably this thing. Alright, we're gonna wrap this one up. So, Deborah, go ahead and hit that stop. Okay.
That was weird.
It is weird. Oh, yeah. I just looked at the I'm like, why do we have that weird cold spot? It's her pocket. Anyway, so Dr. Ladd's doing pretty well for himself down here, making his own money, proving his point. He's not after Amanda's cash, and she gets wind of this from Rhode Island, and she's moving down so they could be married. Well, Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is why I hate the damn story. It's a giant cliche. Every haunted city you will ever visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor.
Nashville,
Yeah, everybody has one.
Broadway. Are you kidding me?
Nope.
All
I've
right,
actually
good
heard
talk.
of that one before.
Yeah.
See, every city has one. So why are we talking about this in Dueler's Alley? Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money, so he gets better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So they have to talk about these plays on the way home as friends. On the way home from seeing Richard III, they're arguing over the actress they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought she was great, Ralph did not. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly and they go their separate ways. But Ralph the next day goes to his friends at the newspaper and places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. Well, Doc saw that ad and he rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die. I also like to point out that all this shit started over an argument about an actress.
That
Shit was dumb back
Under
in...
table.
This is 10:45. Waste of time, local. Who's Phoebe?
I don't know. Just said Phoebe.
Okay. So, two gentlemen came down here back to back, took their 10 paces away from each other, not 15, and basically they turned. Doc points his gun in the air and shoots his one bullet. He didn't want to kill his friend, just needed the courage to show up, which is often what happens at duels back then. But Ralph still has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die. He fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He died 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. And we are coming close to that November 2nd anniversary date. Today's the 27th. We're only 5 days away. Am I right on that?
Yes.
6 days away. So, she's like, yes, yes. Doing the math in her head.
It's
Now,
Yeah.
two things about the last statement that I just said about it being 1786. Gunshot wounds were a lot different back then than what we know of a gunshot wound now.
muskets.
Secondly, yeah, I mean, there was a, it was actually, that was the name of it. It wasn't a musket. A musket's the long gun, but it was like a dueling pistol.
Yeah.
So,
Muzzleloader.
with the whole piece of it being him refusing medical treatment, he is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but obviously he failed. Now, every ghost tour that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles, am I right? So they all do it.
Hobble.
What was it?
Hobble.
Hobble. Like he hobbled away
Yeah.
because he was shot in the knee. Yeah, I'll take it. We have a video camera running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to get a disembodied whistle, more than likely we'll capture it on one of our two devices. However, I can't tell you how many times I've been coming down here and I do the spot check of the spirit box and I get the whistling part of a song and the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. Happens all the time. I don't look for it, by the way. When I do your guys' spot checks of your recordings, which is basically the two of you, I'm looking and listening to minute 1, 5, 10, 15, 20. Whatever I find within that 1 minute time increment is what I write down, and again, I move on. I'm not looking for anything, and I just look at the list as a whole and say, oh, at this time that we got the word hobble, we also have kneecap. So that's kind of how that will work when you guys see that I'm doing the research on this. So if you try this on your own with the voice recorders from your phones by walking all the way through, remember I can't take you all the way through, just remember every local knows the damn story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down the alley. It's just something we do here. Probably something you guys do when you guys walk by that. Yeah, exactly. We all do it. So let's talk about how I got booted out of here. You guys ready for this part?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, she's taking the earbud off of this one.
Listen.
So the alley didn't always go all the way through. This will also show you how much research I go into these places. There was a wall about halfway between where we're standing and Cumberland Street. The reason why, do you know the reason why? Okay, this used to be called Cow Alley before Dueler's Alley. We're going further back in time. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So just imagine this place filled with cows, goats, and chickens. Why am I telling you this? They started building it down there and worked their way this way, and it's changed hands several times. Those bricks are older than the ones we're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child in one of those bricks down there, along with some fingerprint swipes in others. I used to take my groups all the way through and basically show them the handprint because we all need to see how far we've come from slavery, right? It's a big deal. There was nothing paranormal about me taking them down there, just history, because you already know how I feel about cemeteries. That kid is not there staring at the brick, right? He's just not there. I know he's not. One night, November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen with the gear I handed out because he's not there. I'm trying to shoo them along because we're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley, and I'm trying to be respectful. I didn't realize we were out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. The new owner of the mansion came out screaming his head off. My 14-year-old daughter at the time came out, and she was on the tour that night, and she was laughing hysterically because her father was getting yelled at, and she was all about it. So yes, she's a little smartass. So the next day, we just moved on, and the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on holidays, especially Thanksgiving, because I used to work in upper management for Walmart. You guys fight over towels on Thanksgiving, and you scarred me for life. So I don't do holidays ever. So you're looking at me like, did you work at Walmart, or do you work at Walmart?
No, we're deli
Publix.
managers at Publix, and we deal with everybody in their damn dinners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely understand your pain. So I don't do holidays anymore.
I wished.
And I own a business, and I can do whatever the hell I want to. I'm taking off election day because I don't know what the hell's going to happen that day. I'm just going to put that out there. This is a red state, everybody. So if he loses, this whole city's going to be in
They're gonna
flames.
burn
Yeah,
it.
it's going to be crazy.
I mean, have you seen Tennessee?
I
Beyond red.
I mean,
Yeah.
But moving on. So the next day I called my partner and I kind of told him what happened. He's laughing at me, just like my daughter did. And he said, dude, you're not allowed to go down that far. You're only allowed to go down halfway. That's the cutoff point because past
Don't be
that
scared.
is considered residential. Oh, I'm scared to go down there now. Only because I don't want to take it towards my business.
That's what it said. Don't be scared.
So, what I told...
It said come on mine.
What did it say?
Calm.
Come.
Oh, come. Oh, so come and don't be scared. Yeah, I'm not going down there because I don't like to pay tickets. It's not fun. So I told my group that night, keep in mind, this is Black Friday. I'm sold out again, and tickets were way cheaper back then. I was still new at this, trying to figure this all out. So I told my group, guys, I don't get into the next story because I've never had anything happen over there. I'm into vampires, not pirates. I normally would tell you about a pirate story next. That's the other story I got kicked out of. But what's the first pirate you would think of if I'm telling you, we're going to go discuss pirates?
The Disney
No.
Jack Sparrow.
Actual
Oh,
pirates.
Black Eye or Black.
What's that?
Shane Lafitte.
No,
Like all those
Blackbeard.
Taylor
Blackbeard.
is on here now.
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard is the first thing most people would think of because he does have a small history here. But nobody realizes that I was about to tell them about a female pirate. Her name was Anne Bonny, Anna, that you had on the way in here. Yeah. So hopefully we still get to bleed over all the time. So I know it's a different version of her name, but it is still really damn close. So take that for what it's worth. What happened that night was somebody actually heard the name Anne when we were here, and I didn't tell them who we were going to be discussing yet. I took them around the corner and told them what I did know about piracy in Charleston. It wasn't much. And somebody else with another spirit box heard the number 300. I had no idea what that meant. I wrote it down. I do the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. So I was actually quite pissed off. Your jaw's on the ground right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pissed. Let me explain. First off, I'm not into pirates,
Yeah.
and I already told you I have a high education in writing abilities. I love to research. Problem with pirate stories, all of the pirate stories that people tell come from pirate lore that was written 100 years after the days of Blackbeard and Anne Bonny. So that's a problem for me. That means whenever you guys found something that could be relevant, I had to read like 5 textbooks on pirates to figure out how legitimate it actually was. So I've read more books on pirates than I ever wanted to, played more video games, watched more documentaries than I have ever wanted to on pirates, and can probably be considered a pirate expert at this point. And I've seen where you were going with your Gina feet, but I was looking like, yeah, you're in the wrong city. But at the same time, I can't tell you the story anymore. So here's what's going to happen. I had to replace that story with another story that everybody was telling. I hate the story because the damn thing is cursed, and we have a bunch of females here, and it's always cursed to females. So I don't want to take you there. So we are going to go across the street from that location to a story that's not being told all the time. So it is new for me. It's very quick and brief. It's not as long as the one I just told you. And we're going to be toying around with a brand new camera. We're going to change out the camera as I tell you the story, and then we're going to get closer to the location, looking for the apparition of this particular ghost. It's very interesting when we get up there. We're supposed to see all zeros on your device when we're at that cemetery. If you get anything above 2.5, I want to know what it is. It's just helping me gauge the new story. So keep that for what it's worth. What do you have written in your book right now?
Don't be scared and save me. He's playing Jelly Roll, the Save Me song.
So it's a little vague. So I like things that are like real concrete. I will be honest with you. I meant to go tell the story I'm about to tell you tonight, yet we are still getting clues from the story across the street that I didn't want to tell, like same thing as you guys. So I had to tell the story anyway because there was too many definitive things that were popping up. So we'll see what happens tonight. We'll see if she wants to talk to us, but I'm just going to gauge what you guys are capturing. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. If we get enough, I will tell you the story anyway. So let's take it for what it's worth. But yeah, let's get out of this. You got some good footage of the alley. Looks like you did a pretty good job just holding it steady. So hopefully we got something. You can stop your video at this point and